With the low turnovers and the more transition play, does it seem like your team better up there tonight?
Yeah, that's what we want to be. I mean, we really focused on the importance of taking care of the ball. I think our team did a really good job. As outcome of that, we also had 39 assets. We went back to ball movement and pace. This is the recipe for us. This is how we need to play. Does not matter who the opponent is. That has to be our standard. That's what we need to do.
How important is it for RJ to begin playing the way we know RJ can play offensively, just to give your team a little bit more of a lift?
Definitely, his offense is helping the team, but to be honest with you, what he's doing really well lately is he's playing really good defense. And that's always the thing that starts with him and starts with us, and that he has to do good job there. When he does that, I really believe that when he plays with a lot of intention and effort on defensive end, I really think that helps his offense as well. I think that he has even more force and energy and focus, and he did really good job today, scoring but also playmaking.
Were you happy with what you got from Grady in his minutes?
Yes, I thought that Grady did really good job. He gave us extra pop there. He's really good in open court in transition, and he gave us those possessions there down the stretch in the first half.
You talked last week about taking the long view with Grady. I imagine that can be a tough sell for players in the early 20s to be looking at that long view. How has he kind of handled these last few weeks being in and out of the rotation? How has he been working through it?
He handled it in the best possible way. He went back and he put a lot of work. He was going back at night to shoot. He was coming early and first in the gym in the morning to get shots, to put the work in. He was just doing what he's supposed to do, to put extra work. And that's what he needs to continue doing. That should not, because he's playing in rotation now, that should not change. There is a high expectation for him that he needs to put a lot of work in, because he's very important player for us. I have a huge trust in him, and as a young player, I just think that he's going to continue developing, and he's doing all the right things right now that he needs to do.
Given that he was, I think, your first rookie, your first rounder brought in, and knowing what he was drafted for, what you see in practice, has it been surprising that it just hasn't yet translated the shooting to the NBA, at least like the games played yet?
No, it's not. When you look at a history of high-level shooters, I think those guys or stay 4 years in college, or they get drafted early and they pick up on later on what they need to do, because it is a very specific job. That you need to come in the game and you need to knock down shots, and especially if you like this season, he's coming off the bench, and not understanding the importance of every shot, but not putting too much on an outcome, if that makes sense. That you cannot put too much pressure on yourself if you miss the previous shot, and also understanding that shot is not the only thing that's going to keep you on the floor. There is a defense and rebounding and transition and playmaking. Game is changing, and players, they got to be able to do multiple things, to guard multiple positions, and I think he's exactly where he needs to be for such a young player.
RJ, after I think he hit one of those threes, he came back to the timeout, and Darko was like giving you defensive stance tips, but he was just saying your defense, he thinks, fuels your offense, and thinks your defense has been really up a couple of levels the last few days.
Yeah, I'd messed up the play before on guarding the screen, so we were just talking about it. But yeah, no, just as I've been getting better, trying to get my body back right, been able to move better, and just try to be as consistent as I can. And he's right. When I'm locked in and I'm playing defense and I'm guarding and active, just helps you get into the game.
It does start with your body, your cardio, just that feeling you get when you feel like yourself, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure. That's why a couple of weeks ago didn't look great. So just got to continue to work through it.
Did it feel more like your team out there tonight?
Yeah, I think we had a good practice yesterday, and we came in and that translated. And when we play like that, we're hard to beat.
As
you get back and forth yourself? What's it like having Yak back and looking like himself as well?
I mean, Yak was responsible for like 10 of my points. Like, you know, he sets great screens. Bigs got to worry about him. Even, you know, the guards, corner man, tagging, his screening and rolling really sets a lot of things up, especially for me when I'm, you know, coming off screens like that. Cutting, passing, he's getting rebounds, blocking shots, doing everything. Yeah, so, man, it's a great thing to have Yak back.
You surpassed 8,000 points on your career tonight. What does that mean to you?
Just, you know, all glory be to God, man. You know, I've been able to be blessed to be in this position and to be doing this for, you know, some years now. And, you know, it's a thing that, I don't know, you play basketball, scoring's a part of it. It's a part of, you know, being able to win the game. And I just try to play winning basketball as best I can. So, you know, those things come along with it. You know, I'm very thankful.
You're one of 8 Canadians to reach that milestone. Does that have significance for you as well?
Yeah, you know, I'm very proud, you know, very proud Canadian. And I think doing it for the Raptors is even more special. So just, you know, I hope that I'm able to continue this.
You would watch Ryan Nembhard run around a lot, playing in the area. What do you think of him being in the area?
Yeah, you know, I grew up with Andrew, so he was always around, you know. Him and my little brother were roommates at Barrett and everything. So, you know, Ryan's like a little brother to me, man. And I think it's great to see him out there. You know, he stole the ball from me, but just happy to see him out there getting the shot.
Alors, je vais poser la même question en anglais. 8000 points dans ta carrière, parmi les 8 meilleurs Canadiens. Qu'est-ce que ça signifie pour toi d'atteindre cet objectif?
Ouais, merci à Dieu, mais aussi je suis très content de faire ça, spécialement pour les Raptors.